Welcome to Just Between Uterus, the show that empowers people to take control of their health and wellness. Join us as we explore the latest research, trends, and issues from sexual and reproductive health to mental health and everything in between. We will share our knowledge and insights, and our guests will share their real-life stories about their own gender-specific health experiences.
Whether you're young and just starting to think about your health, a busy parent juggling work and family, an accomplished professional, or mature and navigating menopause and beyond, this podcast is for you. If you have a uterus or know someone with a uterus, this podcast is for you. Tune in each week for practical tips, inspiring stories, and a community of people who are committed to living their healthiest lives.
Created for us,
discussed by us,
for people with a uterus. The information shared on this podcast should not be used in lieu of medical or other healthcare provider advice. Please consult your provider for specific information regarding your pregnancy, postpartum, or other women's and gender-specific healthcare.
Hey everybody, welcome back. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. We all have on black today. What's up with that?
I know.
I have on my A1 respectful maternity shirt, so I'm not completely black.
Scrubs, because life be nice.
Okay, credentials. I see them on there.
Girl, it's because the vomit rolls right off. So when I put the babies on my shoulder to burp them, I always get a good burp out. I'm like a burp master, a burp or a fart. And then I put them up there, but then the vomit be on the shoulder. It just roll right on off with the scrub top.
Yes, I do miss the smell of baby vomit from my lactation days.
Girl, no, you do not. Sometimes
y'all can keep it, have it, all that vomit. It's yours.
Listen, it's crazy to like working at, women's health, maternal health, how like we're like so cool with like bodily fluids. Like it's like, yeah, that's fine. No baby vomit.
I told y'all in episode 1 how I got into this work, and in nursing school, like I was excited to have the amniotic fluid splash on me and the breast milk on my arm. Like, yes, all right, I'm official now.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, so what are we going to be chatting about today?
Yes, so again, welcome everybody, and thank you for listening. We are excited to have Starlita back. She was on a previous episode where we talked about preeclampsia, and both of us are preeclampsia survivors. Yay. So I'm so excited to talk to her again today. She's coming on to talk about baby wearing, which is something that is near and dear to my heart. Listen, baby wearing is life, okay? I could not have survived 2 kids, 2 babies without baby wearing. Like, baby wearing is life. That should be the name of the show. Baby wearing is life.
I like that. I like that.
Yes. For sure. So by the time this episode airs, we will be in Black Babywearing Week. Yeah. But we also want to take a minute because this episode will drop on Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, all the play fathers, uncles, cousins. If you play a role in rearing a child or being in a child's life, thank you and happy Father's Day.
Yes. Happy Father's Day.
And take these kids, spend some time with these kids on Father's Day. Here y'all go.
Absolutely. Did y'all do anything special for the fathers in your life today?
Well, construction paper ties all around. Listen, school has me down. Construction paper ties every year and like a little handprint or footprint. But nice meal. He just like to relax, some girl stuff.
So I will say this is the second year without my father. My father actually passed the day before my 39th birthday. My birthday is June 16th, so just passed. And it's been interesting not having him here, especially because my father and I weren't very close. My parents were married until I was 15, but once they divorced or separated, things just went downhill. And so I knew that my father was going to pass because he had dementia and, his health was going downhill and everything. He was living in an assisted living facility. But I didn't realize that after he passed, I would still experience a lot of grief And to this day, I still feel a void. I don't care how close you are to your father, how much you see him, what kind of issues you have with him. When he leaves this earth, there is a part of you that leaves as well. And so I'm still working through that, but I'm happy to celebrate Father's Day for everybody else that's still here.
I love that.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So again, we have Starlita back. Starlita is a certified baby wearing consultant, birth and postpartum doula, lactation educator, writer, and homeschool coach. To hear her full bio, please check out our episode on preeclampsia, and you can hear her whole amazing resume and all the awesome things that she is doing. Right. So again, thank you for joining us again today, Starlita. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks I love your sweatshirt.
Thank you.
What does it say? Baby wearing is the future?
For the
culture.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like baby wearing for the culture. Absolutely.
My creations. I don't typically wear this one. I have one I usually wear that says baby wearing is not a trend.
I know that's right.
But considering the audience, I thought I'd for the culture it today.
Yes. You gotta let us know where you got those from. That's nice.
I have them. They're mine.
Okay.
Stop it.
They're my creation, yes.
So are they going to be in the store? Because I know we talked about
I need to put them back in the store for sure. I have all the breastfeeding, lactation stuff right now, but yes, I'm putting it all back.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, yes.
Stairs, it'll be there.
Sully, do you have any plans for Father's Day?
And Father's Day is always tricky. I don't ever know what he wants, except for rest. So that will be a guarantee. And in food, but yeah.
I need to add those two things to my list. All right. So baby wearing dates back centuries, right?
Absolutely.
So Starlita, tell us what baby wearing is. What does that mean? Wear your baby.
Yes. So wearing your baby wearing, it is several things. It is a parenting tool. That's usually how I kind of start things off with. It's a parenting tool. I recommend that, parents keep it in their toolkit to have, to whip out just with everything else, every other bit of information that they receive prenatally during childbirth education. Baby wearing is another tool that is so helpful with newborns, especially. So I always say it's a parenting tool, but it's also the very simple act of carrying your child using a simple piece of cloth in between. Or to help hold up your child to support. So that's pretty much what it is. It spans back, like you said, from centuries. Starting back from it has roots in every continent, but how it came here in America, it definitely has roots in North Africa through the slave trade. And we see that if you look in, early American history, just seeing how our ancestors carried the kids and the babies of their masters. And then also even before that, Native Americans, they have their own baby wearing culture as well. So it's not this new fad. It's not this new thing. It's not a trend. Though it feels very trendy with all the gadgets and gizmos and things like that.
Yes, my mother-in-law used to say, like, every time I wore my son, "Oh, I wish they had that when I had babies." They did.
Right. They sure did. Yeah, because baby wearing actually came over here or got really known in the 70s, like around the 60s, 70s. We hear about a couple of people that went over to Africa and went over to Asia, and they saw how people were doing it there, and they brought those ideas back to the United States. And I'm going to make this, I'm going to do that, and put their patent on it, and it becomes this, look at this cool contraption, and no credit to the original source. So that's how it goes.
As with everything, I love that you mentioned about, it can just be very simple because, again, like you said, over here, kind of US based, US centric, it becomes like a whole thing. Like you don't have to have a whole bunch of fancy stuff. Like you could absolutely just be super simple with it. Simple piece of cloth. I love that.
Right. It's really just to help make parenting a lot easier. That's why I say just put it in your toolkit, tool belt, and whip it out. It's really there to help you, not to make life more stressful. So yeah.
Well, also when you think about it, baby wearing wasn't something that folks even discovered in the 60s or 70s, because I imagine baby wearing had to be a thing in the 1600s and 1700s when you out in them cotton fields picking cotton. So, or picking whatever else, tobacco, whatever. People, I'm sure, were wearing their children, and probably the master's children too at times. Who knows? So
yeah, they were.
It's not new.
Yeah. And you know what? It was because of that history here in America. It was looked at as something that like poor people or less than, those who are less than, they do that. But it wasn't until those people, Dr. Sears, and I can't remember the woman, she went over to Asia. Dr. Sears was in Africa. It wasn't until they came back and had these ideas. That's how the first quote unquote, baby carrier, buckle carrier was created, and the first backpack style. So, it's because of those people. But yeah, exactly. Like it was already here. It was already here. People were already doing it. It just needed a new face, a new ambassador to make it look cool. So.
That reminds me of breastfeeding. It's so funny that you said the same thing. Like, oh, it takes somebody else to say, they thought poor people do this and you don't have. So of course you have to, use whatever fabric you have laying around your house. But, reclaiming those traditions, I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
So as somebody who does not have children, I'll just ask, who all can baby wear? Like, could I baby wear if I was babysitting somebody's baby or something?
You absolutely can baby wear. Everyone can baby wear. If you are a support person in that family to that child, you absolutely can baby wear, as long as you don't have any, physical limitations or, those kind of things. But yeah, absolutely. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, doulas, lactation consultants, whoever you trust, whoever's part of that support system. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, because all the babies that I'm responsible for is going to get worn.
Yeah.
My friend, I babysit for her quite a bit. Her daughter's 2 now, but when she was, just a couple months old, I'm like, just please understand. Matter of fact, hold on, let me go get the carriers out now because my kids are way bigger. But let me go get the carriers out because she's going on my back.
Exactly. Right. Let them know. Matter of fact, can I show you? Because can I show you how to do this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it as a baby shower gift. Like that is, we get like all of these things that we may or may not use. 1,000,001 newborn diapers. I mean, we don't need that many. I got 3 baby bathtubs, one for one of my showers. But it would have been great to get like 2 or 3 baby carriers. That would have been gold because, one could be for me in the house, one could be for me out of the house, one could be for my husband, that kind of thing. So give people the carriers, put it on the registry, gift card, that kind of thing.
Yes. Practical gifts that you'll actually use instead of all of these like baby outfits that they're never gonna wear.
Yeah.
So Starlita, you're a baby wearing instructor. How did you get into that? And what credentials do you need to be an instructor?
Yes, so I am a certified baby wearing consultant and educator for the culture is what I call myself. So to be an educator, you don't really need any type of formal, anything formal. You can really be that seasoned person and knowledgeable person in your community that just knows what they're doing and, that kind of thing. But the certified part, again, is similarly to, depending on where you are, I was going to say similarly to how doulas are, you don't necessarily need to be certified, but that's a whole nother story now. But you don't need to be certified to be a baby wearing consult or educator. You can traditionally that's seen through volunteer companies. So BWI, Baby Wearing International, they were pretty much in the forefront for like training up people, giving knowledge, education about how to work with different carriers and things like that. And then over the years, there were some organizations and individuals that created their own like training programs. So I am certified through Mamisi Birth Services, which is based in Newark, New Jersey, Black owned, woman owned. I think the other owner, I think she's Latina as well. So there's two owners. One of the owners is actually one of the founders of Black Babywearing Week, Diamond Redden. So I'm certified with her organization as well as Center for Baby Wearing Studies. And all that really means is that, because before that, I had experience with baby wearing probably up at, I don't know, maybe like 7 years at that time. Trying to figure out how old my oldest was when I started the training. Right now, you could say 10 years. But I basically went to get more education on how to use carriers I'm not familiar with, as well as like physiology and things like that. What do certain positions do for, you know, the body, emotions and all that stuff, but also how to actually counsel people. Because a lot of times, you know, postpartum parents come and they come for baby wearing, they come for breastfeeding, they come for whatever, but really there's like underlying things. They come to the place for a consultation with their mother-in-law who's totally unsupportive of you carrying and judgmental, like those things happen. So you often wear the hat of a counselor to do that. We also like, you know, can troubleshoot for like if you have back issues or neck issues or things like that, if you've had a belly birth, that kind of thing, we can give recommendations in a way that a person who has not received extra education or specialized training would be able to do. So that's the difference.
Well, I am definitely going to get more information on that organization because baby wearing has been a passion of mine since I had my own baby. Actually, even before I knew I was going to wear him. And I would love to like actually learn how to teach it. It's funny that you mentioned like when parents come to you for things, it ends up being something else. Because as a lactation consultant, going to see somebody with breastfeeding help, and you know, you see they're overwhelmed and just the baby doesn't want to be put down. Do you have a wrap or a carrier? Let me show you how to do this.
Exactly.
So yeah, I would love to become certified one day. That is definitely on my bucket list of things to do.
I have a quick question. Absolutely. I just heard you, Starlita, say something about, wait a minute, the Center for Baby Wearing Studies?
Yes.
So that sounds like a research center?
I see the wheels got started.
There it is. There it is, Dr. Tiffany.
A lot of baby wearing research has come through there. Joanna McNeely heads that up, and she's been in the game for a long time, an ally to the Black baby wearing community. Yeah, she's been down to Capitol Hill. She's been working with what is it called? I'm having brain fog right now, but the organization Baby Carrier Industry Alliance, BCIA, which basically is the organization that if you are a baby carrier brand, then you would want to get your carrier checked and, you know, like get the stamp of approval that this is a safe and tested carrier from that organization. So she has worked really closely. I think she started that actually. She's one of the founding members of that. So yeah, a lot of research happens through there. So yeah.
That is really cool. I probably sound super dumb right now, but I didn't even know that people were doing hardcore research on baby wearing. Like that's dope.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know what? You would be very interested to actually look into Nurturely. They're based in Eugene, Oregon. They have done some amazing research in baby wearing in Africa. Emily Little, she had up that research. In fact, she just had a paper. They had put out a paper, medical paper, I think, or a journal paper. I don't know how that works, but about baby wearing benefits and things like that. So yeah, people, because it really is it seems so kind of simple to us sometimes, but really there are still entities that kind of demonize baby wearing, and try to make cases for why it is unsafe, and it's still happening. So case studies. So that's part of my training as someone who got this. And you don't have to get certified. You can just get the training and not be certified, right? So that is possible. But even with my training, I've had to do case studies, like of different scenarios where, babies have either passed away, unfortunately, or got injured in relation to carriers. And we have found that a lot of times, or it has been found that a lot of times it's not necessarily because of the carrier per se, but it's because of user error, or there's something else going on.
Oh, wow.
Well, that's why education is so important, because it helps parents to recognize just to be aware of their kid, so that they know whether or not, I probably shouldn't have them in the carrier today, or I shouldn't wrap them up too much, or I should have them in the carrier today, whatever the case may be. So
I have a quick question, Starlita, and I know the answer to this, but for the people listening, in case they don't, in the case of a healthy full-term infant, at what age can you start baby wearing? Because I have a lot of lactation clients, and they're like, oh, well, my baby's 2 weeks old, and I, oh my gosh, my carrier said, this age, or things like that. And they don't really know that, one, there's alternatives if their carrier has an age limit. But tell us, like, when would it be safe to start wearing these babies?
So the carriers are typically going to say 8 pounds. You might find one that says 7. They don't go by ages, they go by weights. That's pretty much what they say. But like you said, there are ways to get around that in a safe way. And to anyone listening, I always recommend that you seek someone who is experienced, who is an educator, or if you yourself are an experienced parent, you've got a few kids, you've been doing this for a minute, or whatever, you've been wearing for a long time, and like, that's one thing. But I wouldn't just, I'm gonna just do it because I heard that I could do it. No.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
We not telling nobody to put your preemie in the baby carrier.
Full-term healthy. And a lot of times parents, those are little things that kind of get overlooked, you get advice from, maybe just online, or you read things, and because we've done that plenty of times. Hey, I read this online and it says like it's fine, or my baby's 8 pounds, but they have other health conditions.
Exactly.
So it's really important to reach out to an educator if you have one. And Starlita is going to give us her contact information, so you guys can do that, but we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, that's so important that you pointed that out, because a big place in a big space where, parents get their information is online, specifically in Facebook groups. So the danger in that, the beauty of it is you get to compare notes with other parents, right? A lot of experienced parents, like I said, you don't need a certification, you don't need a training per se, right? You pass down that one mom to another. I love it, right? The village be the village. However, you just have to know what information is, whether it's a Facebook group, YouTube, and that is where it can become, problematic, just passing down information that's not correct, or that's out of date. Sometimes it's just outdated.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So now, Starlita, quick question about something that's going on this week that we already talked about. And I love this because I'm a DEI person, love talking about health disparities, but also diversity, equity, and inclusion, justice as well, all the things. And belonging.
Yes.
This week is Black Babywearing Week. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, how it started, and why it's important?
Yes, Black Babywearing Week is actually now International Black Babywearing Week. Whoop, whoop.
Yes, love it.
Doing big things. So actually was started by 5 amazing Black moms, Diamond, Juliana, Nikki, Sherry, and Shay. So shout out to y'all. And they were, all over the different parts of the country, but they just wanted to highlight just Black people that carry their babies, the wearers, right? And then also the Black brands, and then the Black educators. Why? Because oftentimes, or most of the time, we have been left out of the advertising, of the, like I said, the credit for where these things, we are left out. You don't see us on the boxes, in the instruction manuals, on the inside of the box. You don't see us in the advertisement, nothing. You don't see us doing it. And our ancestors are the ones that, cleverly created it, because that's what they do, right? That's what they've done. So we are reclaiming that. I know that word, which that's exactly what's happening here, reclaiming that, and highlighting and amplifying our people, from the parent, the support person, whoever who's carrying the baby, to the brand, to the brand, the people that are making the carriers, and of course the educators. So we just want to amplify and highlight that. So we're going to see us educating, doing workshops, doing this, that, and the third, podcast. And also you're going to see a lot of just your everyday person. We like to share photos, videos. So tag Black Babywearing Week 2023. And it'll get shared for that. Yeah, it was started in 2018 by these amazing women. It's also to celebrate just how Black women specifically just created this, right? We want to highlight just the amazing accomplishments of Black women too. So that's another reason why Black Babywearing Week is just International Black Babywearing Week is so important. And we're so grateful that we get to, come together. And it's the week of Juneteenth every year. So you never forget when it is. It's the week of Juneteenth every single year. So
that is clever. I never put two and two together on that. That is amazing.
Just since we celebrating everything Black, let's just throw extra stuff on top of it.
Black Music Month.
If you search the hashtag, me and my babies are on there.
I want to babysit so I can get a picture and be on Black Babywearing Week.
That would be amazing, Tiffany. Let's go just borrow a baby. Because
that's the thing. You don't even have you could like do that with your clients, or just show your support. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to this year's theme is heroes, and it's kind of like, we are all of us are heroes, like, to our babies. Just, with our super cape, our super baby wearing powers, just kind of amplifying, like, everybody, all of us, no matter what your role is.
The raps and the carriers was the hero, okay? Because I had a child that never wanted to be put down.
Yes.
Never. And so just being able to have him safely on me, he was content. I had my hands free. I could, get stuff done. Even when I had my daughter, my son was 2, so I could throw her on my back, have the front free to deal with the 2-year-old. Baby wearing is life. Like, I can't even imagine having a baby without it.
Going back to your toolbox comment too, Starlita, I think about how it fosters that bonding too, right? Because new parenthood is so... I always say parents are first-time parent of whatever. Like, even if you have 5 kids, you're a first-time parent of 5 because you never did that before.
Exactly.
And it just increases and fosters like that bonding to be able to have the baby close. And I know with your platform, you do a lot of connecting with parents. The Mama Connect. See what I did there. A lot of connecting with parents, and again, just teaching them how to have that bonding experience. And it's not just with the gestational parent, like, it's not just necessarily with the mom, like we were talking about. Tiffany, the rich aunties can wear these babies, like,
absolutely.
Here.
That is so true. Yes,
it's such a community thing.
So, Starlita, obviously you're a baby wearing educator, so tell us some stories about you wearing your babies. Any funny stories? Any good things?
Oh, man, it's so bad. So I'm gonna have, it's so many years of baby wearing. My oldest 10. So I will say that the first time, let me see. I made my first carrier just because it was a ring sling. one of the most intimidating carriers out there, so they say.
That was my like quick and go, grab and go one.
That's what I'm saying. Once you, I love teaching people how to use that. It's like one of my secret weapons is dispelling the myths of how horrible and how difficult the ring sling is, because it's not. Once you figure out how to do it, it is a life changer. So once I figured out and saw someone, because when I first saw it, I was like, what is this thing? Like, how do I know how to, I kept putting it on upside down and I couldn't figure it out. Now it's a piece of cake, but back then it was like, it's interesting to me, but I don't get it. But when I figured it out, I was like, oh, I can make this. And I researched and I got, the proper rings for it. There's certain rings. So when people were curious, there's certain rings you have to get. You can't just go get any old ones, no dollar store rings. It's not going to work. And, I had my little sewing machine. Oh, I did a no-sew. It was a no-sew tutorial I found actually. And I made my ring sling. I still have it somewhere to this day. So I have used that ring sling to breastfeed my baby when I had a vocal rehearsal at my church when I was on the worship team. And I used it to breastfeed him in the middle of rehearsal with a mic in my hand. And the nip out, but nobody could see it because it was, ring sling. With the tail. But it was like, it felt so good. I felt so liberated. I was like, I can still do whatever I want to do. Like, I don't feel like I don't have to stay seated or stay in my bed and, and all that stuff. Like, I can walk around and, do all kinds of stuff. So it's not a funny story, but, maybe it inspires someone to give babywearing a try.
So I'm sorry, childless person here. Yes. I don't know what a ring sling is, and I'm not looking at one right now. I don't want to look it up because I want you to explain it. But in my head, I have a picture of like old school when we were in the 80s and you used to have the little ring thing on the side of your oversized shirt and you would like hook it up. Is that what a ring sling is? I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So what it is, let's visualize together. So it's 2 circle rings. So 2 rings that have no like welding marks in it. It's uniform. You can't tell. It's just a circle. There's 2 of them. And they typically are sewn into a long piece of fabric, rectangular, very, very long piece of fabric, maybe about 5 feet, on average, right? So the rings it's like the piece of the fabric is folded over the inside of the rings and sewn. And then you wrap it around you. And yes, you thread it through the 2 rings.
So you can't take it out and like accessorize. Like you don't have a gold ring sling with this outfit and a black ring sling with that outfit. Not the material, but like the actual ring.
The rings. You know what? Yeah. So there are companies where you can customize. There are companies that will let you customize the ring that you want. Matter of fact, I was going to say one, but I got a black owned one for you. Oh, goodness. My Peekaboo baby in Baltimore, my hometown, shout you out.
Hey.
Yeah, mom owned. She's amazing. You can, if I'm not mistaken, you can choose the ring. Yes, you can choose what color you want. I think. Yeah, typically they're like black. I have a few different ones: black, silver, gold. I think I have one that's like rose gold, but you can choose the fact for some of them. Not all brands do that for you though.
I love that. And so we're talking about ring slings and carriers and stuff. And those of us who have kids and who baby wear know what this means. But Starlita, give the people just a little bit of feedback, because I feel like baby wearing is like limitless. Like it knows no bounds. Like it's so creative and you can make it what you want to make it. And of course, do it safely. So give us a little bit of background just about like some of the different types that may be out there. Cause we get, like you said, we get all these on the registry and it's like, okay, what's the real deal from the experts?
Right. So there are 5 off the top of my head. I'm going to go through them and hope I still come up with 5 main ones that are out there. So there is the soft structured carrier. And I start with that one. That's like a backpack style with the buckles or a buckle carrier. So I started off with that because that's the most, you see those a lot in the movies and the TV. They be all wrong, wearing they be all messed up. But those are the ones you see a lot. Those are the ones you see a lot in your local big retailers as well. There's also the ring sling, what we just talked about, is a simple piece of fabric that is has some rings threaded around it. So there's that. There's also the wraps. So there's two different kinds. There's the woven wrap and the stretchy wrap. Stretchy wraps are stretchy, hence the name. They have a lot of give. They're really great for newborns because they can really get around their bodies and your body. Like, it's like it melts. It's like butter. Like, it just melts. Y'all melt together with this fabric. It's a really great fit. And then on the other side of that are the woven wraps. So those are made of more sturdier material. There's linen, there's cotton, of course, there's silk, there's all kinds of different materials. Wool, well, I don't know. Yeah, wool. And that is a stronger material. So great for newborns as well. Great for any kid, really. And I mean kid, I mean older kids, preschoolers, toddlers, babies, like they're very sturdy and strong. And then med eyes or bed eyes, those are Asian style carriers. There's actually a few Asian style carriers, but that one is a really popular one. It's very similar to it's like a cross between a soft structure carrier. So imagine what that looks like, but without the buckles part. Imagine straps instead of buckles.
Okay.
So it has the benefit of getting a really good fit as well. Whereas a soft structure carrier, you can't really get like that real good kind of fit where it like melts, like it molds your body really well because there's gapping in between. It's like a backpack. So you can only get but so much, which is why for those, it's really important that you do follow the recommendations, the manufacturer recommendations for sizing on that for those kind. So those are like the main ones. But then there's also your traditional carries with a simple piece of cloth, the chitenge or the kanga. And there's so many other names for it. I can't think of them, so I won't include them. But there's so many different names that come out of our African tradition of carriers, and also ones that are very similar from other cultures. Asian culture, they have ones very similar too, where it's just a simple piece of cloth that you use like a wrap. If you think about it in a Western way, you kind of use it like a wrap. So yeah.
And what ways can you actually carry the baby? Like, I'm thinking you carry the baby in the front and in the back, and that's it, right?
Actually, no, there are a couple other ways. So in the front, you can have them facing out. You can also have them facing in. So either they're looking at the world or they're looking at you. So that's the front. You can also have them on the back. You can have them high up, which in the Western world, we really love having the baby up over the shoulder, really high up. But if you look in our ancestry, you'll see babies worn low on the back with a traditional wrap. So they can be worn on the back. And the other way is on the hip. Oh. We carry our kids on the hip anyway, right? You got to pick them up. You got to go here and we do pick them up, put them on our hip. You see people just standing there, like holding the babies outside, but you can do that with a ring sling. You can do that with a few other carriers, and it helps you with the weight. So yeah, hip too.
What if you have a rapid repeat pregnancy? Like, can you be pregnant and wear a baby?
Absolutely. You can.
This is so cool.
Yeah, that was actually, I've done that too, because my girls are very close in age. And so, I've worn my youngest I've worn my middle child on my back with my youngest in my belly, like very pregnant. And it actually is not, it wasn't hard for me because I could, like, if your body could not do it, or if your pregnancy was, a little hard for you, like, obviously, I know, you might want to try things, but just listen to your body, first of all. You don't feel like you have to do all the things, but it is possible for sure. Yeah. You can
Yeah, I wore my kids. Well, I wore my son very pregnant with my daughter,
Yeah.
and I wore both of them so long. I mean, my daughter is almost 7, and she still remembers, Mommy, remember when I used to get up in your back? And especially like if we happen to come across the carrier or her favorite carrier.
Oh,
She was
yeah.
like, yeah, I remember I used to get up in that. And she's almost 7, and like sometimes we'll still try, and she can like get in it, and it holds her up on my back. I mean, obviously, I'm not going out in public with a 7-year-old on my back,
Right.
but yeah, I have 2 carriers, and I've given away so many carriers, but I have 2 carriers that are so near and dear to my heart. Like, they're in most of my pictures of me wearing my babies, and like you mentioned, the ring sling, people find it hard. Like, that was my quick, let me run in the store real quick, put him on my hip, grab and go carrier.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the woven wrap or the stretchy wrap for a while, and then eventually got the woven wrap where we wrapped up all the things. So that was for like longer outings. And then I did buckle carrier too, to make it simple for us. Funny thing is, my husband was so against baby wearing when my son was born. I would like tell him, like, you should try wearing, like, you could have your hands free, like all the things. He's like, oh no, men don't do that. Men don't do that. So of course, every time we go out in public and I saw a man baby wearing, I'm like, see, look at him, look at him, look at him. And by the time I had my daughter, I was like, I had to go teach a class, and she may have been about maybe 5 or 6 weeks old. And I was like, listen, let me teach you how to do this. That way, if you need to, at least you know how to do it, because the problem is not necessarily the newborn. It's you also have to chase the 2-year-old around.
Right.
And my class might have started at 9 o'clock. By 9:30, I had a text message with a selfie from him with my daughter, being worn, like, thank you. This is a lifesaver. I'm like, I told you a long time ago, sir. Stop being so hard-headed.
That's great. They usually come around. And that actually reminded me too, that I actually missed a carrier, an Asian style carrier called the Ambuhimo. And it's literally like a backpack without the waistband. So if a soft structure carrier has the waistband and the buckle around your waist, like a belt, but the Ambuhimo does not. So a lot of fellas really like that because it feels very familiar to them without having the strap across their bellies. That's always a fun one that they like.
Nichelle, do you have any funny baby wearing stories?
I mean, I don't know if it's funny, but baby wearing was like my jam. So I'm a soft structured carrier kind of girl. I splurged on a Tula, which is a very expensive soft structured carrier when you think about it, and we'll kind of talk about like price range too. But I knew, like, at the beginning, I think going into like having my little rainbow baby, I was like, okay, like I need to figure out how to make this easier for me. And I'm like, okay, well, what if you can't carry your baby all day? And I'm Googling stuff like this, like, okay, like, so what do you put your baby in? And carriers just kept coming up. So I was like, okay, I'm going to splurge and get me one. And I did, and it has lasted. That thing still looks new. I carried my son. We talk about just different reasons to carry, but I carried him during COVID, and he was 3.5. And so when COVID first happened and everything was like out of stock in the stores and stuff, I needed to go to the grocery store. Like, we had to. He was home. I didn't have a choice, and my husband was at work, and so I was like, I got to get while the getting's good. But he was 3.5, and he would touch everything, and so I was like, well, I don't want to put him on my back because he can still touch stuff. He can still reach stuff at 3. So I front carried a 3.5-year-old, and it was a little bit of stress on the back, but I got as much, support that I could get. And I took a picture, and people were looking at me like I was crazy, but I mean, it worked. Now, put your little hands in here, don't touch anything. And so I was just carrying a grown toddler around on my front. You know what? It worked. And like with my daughter, oh yeah. With my son, I think I eased into it. Like Starlita, you were saying, like, it was so intimidating a little bit because it was bigger than him, and I didn't really know the settings. And I wish I would have reached out to a baby wearing educator and expert, but I didn't know like how to get him comfortable in it. And so I kind of waited a little while. He was a bit bigger, maybe like 15 pounds. But like with my daughter, like 2 days home from the hospital, she was born 8 pounds stuff, so I would say that. But 2 days home from the hospital, like put that bad boy in a carrier, and like even sometimes like just sitting, like I wouldn't even sleep, but my arms just get tired. I want to sit there and eat, so I have dropped much food on my kid's head trying to eat. Yeah. Like I'm starving. If I could that, and they don't want to be put down. And I still want that bonding. And I definitely got my husband into wearing. I think by our second kid, he was more comfortable with it. But I was just like, this is the jam, and this is how you bond. Like this is how we navigate life. Like it's a parenting resource too, because it's just like, okay, like I want to bond with you. Here, you can bond with your child and still play your game or do whatever it is that you need to do, like, and still have them there. So baby wearing is my job. I feel like, and two, I had winter babies. So putting them in the car seat and the carrier, and people be out in public breathing on you and touching on you. Even pre-COVID, I would always wear and I tell my parents this all the time, like my lactation clients, if you put the baby on your body, people are less likely to invade your personal space.
I was just about to say that. Yes.
Because you have them in the car and they sit up there and they want to lift up the thing. Look at the little baby. But when they're on your person, you don't want to you might get decked by an adult if they do that. And so I would take my baby. We didn't even get a carrier car seat the second time around. I got that carrier out of there, strap that bad boy on. I sit in the car, tuck her in there, and we good to go. They have the little ones will have hoods, and if you have like the wraps and stuff, you keep them nice and warm. Tell me,
right,
baby. Yeah, I was just gonna say that people are less likely to come in your personal space with the baby wrapped on you, but you have that baby walking around in a carrier, and then they're standing over the baby, hey little baby, breathing on them and stuff. I didn't have winter babies, but I knew when I was pregnant, I don't know, I've always just disliked strollers. Like they look so big and cumbersome, and you see people struggling to get in and out of doors, struggling to open the thing, close the thing. Yeah. So I knew like long before I had babies, I was gonna find something else. I was not trying to be bothered with the stroller. And typical first time mom, I bought one anyway, but that thing collected dust because I could probably count on one hand between two kids how many times I actually pulled it out, because again, I would get them out of the car, wrap them up, and go about my day. I could have my hands free to open doors. I have my hands free to push the grocery cart if I need to go grocery shopping. Again, baby wearing is life. I was asking y'all about funny baby wearing stories, because is it just me? Do I have all the funny baby wearing stories? Like I feel like all the like crazy things only happen to me. I know for sure, Nichelle, you've heard this story where like I tried to wrap my son on my back for the first time, and he may have been like 14, 15 months. And then, so I had him on my back, and then I go in the refrigerator to get something, and I'm standing in the refrigerator, like, thinking about it. Well, he reaches, we had the ketchup in this little jar with the little spoon. So he reaches and grabs the ketchup. So now I got ketchup all on the back of my head because this little baby that's on my back has reached and grabbed the ketchup. Another, funny story, like the ring sling, I found it to be the easiest one. So that's the one I taught my husband. But I remember I was like upstairs, supposed to be resting, trying to do my own thing. And I don't know if he couldn't find the ring sling, but he grabbed one of my roving, like really long wraps, and he tried to wrap her. And he came upstairs, my baby's screaming. She looks like she's hanging on for dear life. He's like, yeah, I tried to like let you rest, but she won't stop crying. I'm like, that's okay. You try. I'm going to actually have to post that picture on our Facebook. I'm sorry. Well, Facebook and Instagram page, so y'all can see it too. It was hilarious. Like my little baby is just hanging on for dear life, but
definitely been thrown up on quite a few times.
Oh, absolutely.
And listen, baby wearing stuff, it don't even matter. I just got vomit on the back of my neck. You know what?
You get a little towel and wipe that, and you go about your day.
Have vomit, some drool, but sheesh, vomit.
Disgusting.
Listen, Tiffany, when you have kids, you get used to bodily fluids real quick. Oh, a little pee on my shirt. All right.
Well, Tiffany's a nurse. So she's a nurse. She's so used to just.
Well, you don't know.
No.
As a nurse, I don't want grown people bodily fluids on me. But my babies, I mean.
I do have a question. So, as a nurse and as a person who has never, I think I've worn one baby in a carrier for like 30 minutes, but who hasn't consistently done baby wearing, what kind of safety issues are there? Like, I imagine having a baby changes your center of gravity, almost like when you're pregnant, your center of gravity is changed, and we see a lot of pregnant women trip or fall or that sort of thing. How, like, what kind of safety things do you have to worry about when baby wearing?
Yeah, so that is one of them. So making sure that you're aware of your own limitations or challenges that you may have, especially if you are, you just had a belly birth or cesarean, you probably aren't even interested in carrying your baby right away. It would be very uncomfortable and not medically advised, right? So, if you have back issues, things like that, you want to be real with yourself first, right? Because yes, there are many benefits for our baby, but one thing that I love to point out is just taking care of yourself. Thinking it's okay to think about yourself. It's okay as a new parent to actually think about yourself, and to think about yourself first, your mental health, your physical health. So yes, it can throw off your center of gravity if you are not wearing it properly, if it's not adjusted well, if you have issues. But that's usually pretty simple. That's not one of the bigger issues. In terms of other safety concerns or things that we look for, the most important thing is that the baby is high enough to kiss, close to kiss is what we say. That their airway is open. I describe it as ABCs. We talk about it as ABCs. They're different acronyms, like depending on if you're in the UK or if you're here, and then what educator you got. I should say ABCs, the same way that they do in the medical world. So airway, breathing, and circulation, just because it's an acronym we already know. And we want to get more practitioners on board. So give them what they know. So airway, so making sure that their chin is off their chest. And one way that I, easily suggest this to people is 1 finger breath or 2 finger breath, depending on how old your or how many pounds your child is or baby is. And just make sure their chin is off their chest. If you can get 1 or 2 finger breaths, then, so let's do this. I know you can't see this. I do this exercise everywhere I go. So put your chin to your chest and just say your name. Say something.
Tiffany.
I wish I could see this. So it's like really hard to get your breath and say anything with your chin to your chest, right? As a whole grown up with full head and neck control. So imagine a baby, right? They can't do that. They cannot just, some of them, these COVID babies, I've been hearing, from what I'm hearing, they got superpowers. But typically they need a little help keeping their heads are bigger than their body. So we want to make sure their heads, their chin is off their chest, making their airway nice and open, make them high enough to kiss. So if you have to bend down to give them a kiss, they are too low, you want to raise that carrier up and tighten it. And then we also want to make sure that we prefer like ergonomic sitting, so that their legs, their knees are higher than their bum. So M shape is a way to describe that. Froggy legs is another term you may have heard. You'll see a J, I don't know how in depth we're going here, but you'll see their spine is making a J or a C, depending on how young they are. So those are just little things that we, or big things that we're looking for. We want their airway, and we want you, or I add this on, is your comfort. Again, it's okay to think about you, and you want to be comfortable. You don't want to go through all of this and you are so uncomfortable because you just need to do whatever. Baby wearing is a tool, like I said, and it really should just be part of your everyday, life. And it should be something that's comfortable for you. So if it's not comfortable and you have any issues, please seek a help from an educator or a consultant, because we have tricks up our sleeves that can help you out.
I feel like a complete idiot. I did not know that there was a whole scholarship and science behind.
Absolutely.
And now, I want to marry somebody that's an anthropologist so we can go around the world and look at the different ways that people baby wear. That would be so cool.
That is a dream. That is a real dream of mine to do. So we'll see.
I was just about to say, take me with you.
Go ahead, babies on your back while you're out here doing.
You'll see how much similarities there are. I mean, I know people over in Malaysia and the Philippines that have baby wearing. They are doing baby wearing educating over there and really, reclaiming their culture. And it's a lot of similarities between their carriers and their style with the ones in Africa and even ones in Europe. So not to say that, because it's, Europe it's not the issue with Europe. It's the issue with Western America. That is appropriation. But they have their own unique carriers in, Denmark and things like that, and Sweden. So not knocking that, but you'll see how similar a lot of countries, and it is in a lot of places. So
this has me excited.
I love this cradle board. So I learned about that from a lactation consultant. And just when you talk about like just reclaiming those ancestral and cultural practices, like again, doing it since the dawn of time is not super trendy. We didn't put like a brand on it and now it's a thing. Like people have literally been doing this since the dawn of time. And I know, so June, you mentioned like Black Babywearing Week, and it's in June. Starlita, if you could just give us a few little tidbits about baby wearing and as far as like clothing wise. So for me, I got really hot in my postpartum period. So you could come to my house at any point in time and find me in like a little sports bra and half naked baby with a diaper on, because that is just what kept us comfortable. So talk to us maybe just a little bit about, especially like the different materials, because I had a structured carrier and it got pretty warm and hot. So I would have to dress down my baby or dress down me. And I know you were talking about parental comfort for wearing.
Yeah, that is great. It's that time of year. So the rule of thumb is basically if it's hot, you just need the bare necessities. So a diaper and a onesie, maybe some socks, just to, not let everything out, as the old folks say. Don't let out all the heat. Yeah. So maybe put some socks on. But I mean, if it's hot, it depends on what hot is, right? And humidity. So they don't need all that. Diaper, cloth diaper. I mean, I would do that all the time. Cloth diaper and in that soft structure care, because that was one of my go-tos. It was the soft structure carrier and then the ring sling. And that's pretty much what it was. And then for me, a tank top. So just one layer is good enough. One thin, like pretty much so here's the rule of thumb. No matter what the season is, for the most part, you want to start off with at least whatever regular layer you would wear on a normal day, right? So how would you dress your baby on that day? Like if in general, and that's really all you need for it. Maybe a layer less, like you said, shirt off or things like that. If it's like hot, like Texas, like I know it's hot out there, and so that's because you also have to account for the body heat between you and your child. So, I mean, baby wearing is a hot activity. So let's just let it be clear, let it be known. It's a hot activity. So if you're expected, it's hot. It is what it is. And so, yes, it's okay to, the baby be shirtless. Shoot, it's your house. You be shirtless. Do what you gotta do, right? Mm-hmm. Especially if, you're a new parent, you're feeding your baby often, cluster feeding, whatever the case may be, crazy sleep schedule, whatever. Like they could be sick and just want to nurse more, whatever the case. Like baby wearing is, lifesaver. So do what you gotta do, right?
That was really helpful for me. Even as my son got older, he may have been about 18 months, but he was just real clingy. He wasn't feeling well. Of course, wouldn't just go take a nap. And so I was like, come on, just get up in this carrier. And then that instantly just made him feel better. And he just went to sleep. And, I got to keep doing whatever it is, whatever it was I needed to do. So, baby wearing is life. I can't say enough good things about it. And so if it's something that you can do, it's definitely something you should think about. Like Starlita said, any new parents, please, as you're adding to their registry or wanting to bless them with a gift or a donation, ask them, is that something that they would consider? I'm all about practical baby shower gifts and stuff that they'll actually need and use. So a wrap or a carrier is definitely one of those things. And baby wearing is life. I can't say that enough. I actually miss those days. My kids are 9 and almost 7 now. So there's no more baby wearing on a consistent basis these days. But when they were little, everywhere. There's even carriers, and I know Starlita, you know this. There's even carriers for the pool. Like if you're going swimming, you can baby wear in the pool. Obviously, like she said, make sure the baby's head is up and the water is, not above their head. So safety first.
No diving, okay?
Yes, no, we're not jumping in the
water
pool or diving with the baby. No.
Yes,
but there are carriers that you can get in the pool or the shower with your baby. Yeah. I actually had one of those with my son because, again, he never wanted to be put down, and I just wanted to take a shower without a screaming baby. So I got a carrier that could get wet, and that's how we showered for a long time.
Those are really good for summer too. So
yes,
that question. Those are usually made of like mesh, and there's another type of material, Reprieve. One of the brands is called Reprieve. They use that. It's like mesh, maybe a little bit more sturdier. It has holes in it. Have holes. Like a penny, like a basketball penny that your kids might wear when they're playing, basketball. And so they have that material, great for the pool, great for, and they have this one that's great for both. So you can actually wear it in and out the water without changing the carrier. It works well for both being wet and dry. So that's new technology. Or new-ish. Linen is really great. Just like linen pants, linen makes you feel easy, breezy, and good. They have carriers that are linen.
And it's cute.
Yeah. And so that's the other thing too. Like, if there are some they've come a long way. There's some really cute carriers with some leather accents and some, all kinds of really, pockets that are, it's all kinds of really cool things. Silk ones, I mentioned that before. There's silk ones, and they're just really beautiful. And they do cost, they are pricey. They're pricey, but they are very sturdy, and they will last forever, and they resell very well. So for those who are like, I want to do it, but I just can't afford it, they do resell, ask for gifts. And there are organizations out there. You kind of have to look. And even some of the baby wearing companies, sometimes, they can do something. But talk to an educator because, we have some connections. I got a few. So, we want baby wearing is accessible. That's it's a myth that baby wearing is so trendy that it's for the privileged now. So now it's viewed as a, prestigious thing. Only the rich people can do it. I
saw a tutorial with a twin bed sheet. Like that was it. Bed sheet.
I've done one with a towel at the beach with I think she was 3 at the time. So a couple years ago, like the sand was too hot and she didn't want to walk back and she was tired and she didn't want to walk back to the car. So I was like, oh, I can just put you in this towel. I mean, we made the towel work because, I'm not the same size as I was when I had her, but we made that one work, like put her in there traditional style. I kind of make up something. It was it worked and we got her to the car. So that's what I'm saying. Like the skill, you got to do what you got to do.
Just think of that. Did you just catch that, Michelle?
Yeah, the John.
You made it Philly too long. You just said we made this John work.
Let me correct that. We make this joint work. I'm from Baltimore. Get it straight. Y'all mean, hey yo, let's go. Like
that is funny.
Yo, Mo, I'm just asking.
Starlita, oh goodness. Well, I just want to thank you because I learned a ton. I honestly did not know any of this. So I feel like you
about to get another certificate. Another degree in something in a second. I feel it coming.
Oh my what?
That's good. Does the NICHD need to put some grants out on baby wearing?
They are doing that. I'm telling you, there are organizations that are doing that right now. They are doing it.
I'm astounded. I think this is great. But I want to thank you so much for coming on
Yes.
for a second time. Thank you. And please tell the people where they can find you and your resources.
Yes. So you can find me everywhere you like to be at the Mama Connect. That's THEMAMA Connect, CONNECT. So Instagram, YouTube, I have a website. I'm literally everywhere. I do workshops and consultations in person in the New Jersey, Philadelphia. I'll even go to Delaware, maybe Maryland, maybe New York. I mean, the whole area in person and in virtual. So I actually get a lot of clients virtually. As far as the Middle East, I had one client who wanted to learn. She was married, a white sister who was married to an African who was in the military, and she wanted to learn how to traditionally carry because she bought a beautiful kanga when they went to Africa. She just wanted to. So yeah, we out here. So anything you need, I'm out here in these streets.
That's dope. I need the insurance companies to go ahead and figure out how to pay baby wearing consultants, because this is
right. Please, because I have to be insured. So I am insured, people. Like, it's a real thing. It's not, we not playing games out here. I pay for insurance to make sure I'm covered, because I don't want nobody to get in trouble. Starlita told me to do this, and then nope.
Starlita told y'all where y'all can find her. So if you want to even gift like a family member a baby wearing console, that would be a great, shower gift. Like, even if you're in the village, and we kind of talk about this, like, even if you're of the village and you know someone, like, and you're listening to this podcast, pass along her information, pass along the link to this episode, and just like let the people, book them a baby wearing console. That would be a great shower gift. I wish somebody would have gave me that.
That's an amazing idea.
They give you wipes. I don't know, wipes. Get you a baby wearing console. That's what you need.
I love
That's
it.
a great idea. Oh. I know someone great who can, I got a recommendation.
Around here, know a couple people. No. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Starlita, for joining us. Again, thank you, everyone, for listening. It's always a good time when Starlita's on the podcast.
Yay. Thank you. Aww.
And so, Courtney, any final thoughts?
No, baby wearing is life. So get you one.
A baby or a wrap?
Both.
While we're at it. Not me though. You all out there listening.
That was good. We will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Just Between Uterus podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
We want to hear from you. Follow us on social media at Just Between Uterus.
And email us at info@justbetweenuterus.com.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Don't put that in there. Don't put that in there.